Welcome to Where I Long to Be, a magical trip report podcast. My name is Virginia, and I am your host. Before we get started, I just want to acknowledge the news that came out of Disney this week from the Contemporary Resort. If you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out for help. The 988 Lifeline is a free hotline available to anyone 24/7, 365 days of the year. The counselors there are ready to provide compassionate support so that you can share your feelings and be heard. The world is more magical because of you, so take care of yourselves and look after your friends and loved ones. Thank you all for tuning in today and listening. If you haven't yet, please make sure you're following the show on the podcast app of your choice so that you will always have the next episode ready to go in your queue and help others to find the show more easily. On today's Pro Strip Report, I'm welcoming back Lucy, who you may remember from being on the show previously or from her podcast, which is called Parents on Disney. Lucy was traveling to Walt Disney World September 20th through the 24th. On their arrival night, they were staying off-site for the very first time ever at a hotel called the Drury Plaza Hotel Orlando before moving over to All-Star Sports so that they could best take advantage of the free water park day at Typhoon Lagoon before enjoying 2 park days, one at Magic Kingdom and one at Animal Kingdom. That should catch you all up, so let's get to it. Here's Lucy. Lucy, you're back.
I'm back. Yes.
Yes, it is October 5th, and you returned from your trip on September 24th. So
Yep.
you had a little bit of time to get
Mm-hmm.
readjusted. Overall, how was this trip?
It was fantastic. Um, I mean, we didn't run into any like major snafus. My kids honestly were like, I'm sure people will be like, yeah, right. Um, my kids honestly like did really well, even though it was warm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it wasn't unbearable.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't unbearably, August type hot weather. We weren't there in August, obviously, but it was hot.
Mm-hmm.
um, I've been spoiled because I've pretty much only gone twice when it's been hot. May and then now, and every other time has been, you know, upwards of 70s, so
Mm-hmm.
I've really been spoiled in that. And my kids actually did pretty well. We had more breaks obviously than normal.
Mm-hmm.
um but nobody had any like major meltdowns or anything, no major like fighting between the two. Everybody was like a big trooper. And I mean, I don't know if it plays in part of like it's been a while since they've gone, and so they
Mm-hmm.
were just, I mean, obviously they would have been excited nevertheless, but
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised like how well they did.
Yeah.
Because I really didn't know, especially with Magic Kingdom, if they were going to be there the whole, time, because that
Mm-hmm.
was a big day.
Well, they're getting older, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe they're maturing. who who knows? Yes, cross your fingers, definitely.
Yeah.
How did they do on the drive? Because you were driving from your home in North Carolina down
Mm-hmm.
to Orlando, which is about a 9-hour drive, and
Yes.
you had planned to start at 5 a.m. So how did that drive go?
So nobody went back to sleep initially.
Oh no.
I know. I was like, oh my gosh, please. They were just so excited.
Mm-hmm.
My son did eventually take a nap. My daughter never went back to sleep. We were
Mm-hmm.
like, and I mean, granted, she wasn't in bad spirits. Like, she wasn't fussy or anything, but for her sake of like her body, I was kind of like, sweetheart, you should try to sleep. Like,
Right.
and
Like this is gonna hit you later.
once we're there, it's like, it's not nonstop because that was our first day being there, but like we were going to go to Disney Springs and stuff. Like, I need you to not be miserable.
Mhm.
Um, the drive was pretty good. I mean, to be expected, stopping,
Mhm.
for breaks and whatnot. Um, and once we stopped, and it was like, okay, we've stopped, and then 15 minutes later, we stopped again. So that was one thing we were like, okay, we can't do that again.
Uh-huh.
Like, you guys have to understand, it's a lot to get off of the highway, and then we got to take in to go to the bathroom, and then we got to navigate back onto the highway. But
Mhm.
sometimes you get off and it's like, okay, it's right there. You get off, you get on. But then sometimes it's like you got to go, down a ways and make a U-turn, or, whatever,
Right.
whatever it is. So I'm like, this is adding time. This is adding at least 20, 30 minutes every time we stop.
Right.
So we kind of talked to them about that. Like, okay, if we stop, everybody's going to the bathroom.
Mhm.
But I don't have to. No, you're going to
No,
go. That's like not,
that's the rule.
that's the rule. That's what we're doing here. So once we got past that, it was more smooth sailing.
Mhm.
So, of course, we rented this car, and we've pretty much figured it out and everything, and it was an easy drive. Like, it wasn't I took the first half, which is what I like to do, because once we get to Orlando, I want to look out the window and and everything. And I don't mind driving in traffic, but as you know, there's lots of traffic, once you um get into Orlando, and I just would rather not. But um the directions were set up on my phone. Smooth sailing. I mean, and it's easy, It's you get on 95 for us, and it's just a straight shot. And you would think by now, I got to Orlando, I would know, you know, how to get from there. But, we have it on. That was when my directions decided to just, I don't even know what it was doing.
Hmm.
I'm like, where are we? This doesn't look right at all. It's like, make a U-turn, turn left, turn right, make a U-turn, redirecting. And I'm like,
Mhm.
it's been fine this whole time. And then like the last 15 minutes. Now, granted, we were going to the Drury, so like I had an idea on the map of like where it was, but I've never been there before.
Right.
So I wasn't quite sure. So I'm like, okay, maybe we're going the right way. But then it's like we're kind of like, I don't even know where we were, honestly. We were in Orlando, but I was like, this doesn't look familiar at all. Like
Hmm.
any anywhere near Disney Springs at all, which is where the area we were, going towards. And then of course, this is when the kids, they hadn't fought the whole time. They and so granted, I'm thankful for that, but like this is when they were all of a sudden like, with each other in the back, and then
Mhm.
we're driving around trying to figure it out. My husband's getting irritated because he's like, because I have an app, I have Apple products, and he
Mhm.
has Google products, and he's like,
Oh
your
no.
phone, that the Apple Maps and all this stuff, and I'm just like, okay, it's been fine this whole time. Like, I don't. So then he's taking it, trying to figure out in the rental car how to take it off of my phone to put the directions on to his phone, which was
Mhm.
like a whole thing because, it's not our car and
Mhm.
it's different. And he's like hitting all these buttons. And then I'm trying, like, he's driving. I'm trying to do that. He's trying to do it. Was like this chaos at the very end.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously we made it, but
Mhm.
I was like, why did this happen right now? you
Oh
know,
wow.
at the very end, like we're so close to being there.
Is there more than one Drury Inn in Orlando?
So there is. So there's There's one closer to Disney Springs, and then there's another one that is closer to Universal.
Was it
And
taking you to that one?
maybe, possibly. I mean, I had the address for the Disney Springs one, and then I was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, it didn't add a ton of time, but we did get there a little bit later than I anticipated.
So what time
Um,
did you pull into town?
I think we got to
Or
the
pull into
hotel.
the Drury, I should say.
Yeah, the hotel we were there by, I want to say 6:30.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it wasn't terrible.
Mhm.
I mean, it was probably about an hour longer than I really was trying to get there like right when that free dinner thing started so we could just knock that out and
Mhm.
then get to Disney Springs like as soon as possible.
Mhm.
But it
I
it you
mean,
know,
all said and done, given how many times you said you stopped, I think an hour is not as bad
yeah.
as it could have been. So
Oh
did
no.
you get to take advantage of the free dinner event?
Yeah. We did. And I told my co-host Catherine, I said, it was fine. It was free, so you can't complain too much. It, the breakfast that they had the next morning was 10 times better than the dinner, to be
Okay.
honest with you. But like I said, it was free.
Mhm.
The kids ate, so I mean we
Yeah.
ate too, but you know.
How did you feel about the Drury Lane overall? You were only there for one night, but in terms of an off-property option, is it
Yeah,
a one you'd
I've
recommend?
I've never stayed off property ever.
Mhm.
So, I was trying not to be biased against something off property. And I don't think it's a bad option. The
Mhm.
one caveat that I will say is you have to put this into, like, with us, we're a one income household. So like this is more of a bigger deal than maybe for some people. You have to pay for parking,
Yeah.
which to be expected in big cities like New York, pretty much everywhere you go. New York City, you're going to pay for parking. DC, you're going to, like these big
Mhm.
cities, you're going to have to pay for parking. Um the guy was very nice, and we were only there for one night, so typically it's $25 a night
Mhm.
to park. He waived it down to 15.
Mhm.
So that was nice, but the rate was equivalent to staying at an All Stars.
Mhm.
But then once you add the parking,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
need to think about that because it could make it higher than staying at the All Stars, and in that case, I would just go there.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, and
really,
I always say that to people is like there are people who are maybe not as familiar and they think, "Oh, I'm going to stay off property and save money." And it doesn't always work because of the value of
mhm,
the All-Stars and what you can get for your
right?
money there versus a place where not only might you have to pay for parking, but a lot of these places have resort fees. So there's like
Yes.
a fee that gets tacked on per night in
Hmm.
addition that really bumps the price up
Yep.
and can be higher than the All-Stars. And then you have the added component of it taking you a lot longer to get anywhere on
Hmm.
Disney property because shuttle systems are never going to be as good as the Disney internal bus routes. So I would urge
No.
people if you're considering staying off property, like if you find a great deal or if you have a specific reason to, sure, go ahead. And it was worth it to give it a try, right? But
Yeah.
I would urge people to really sit down and price out what it is compared to All Stars. And if you're looking for like a cheap arrival night, resort, consider just doing a night at the All Stars instead.
Hmm.
And don't forget about those resort fees and the parking and all of those other things that you have to take into consideration.
Right. Well, so and that's the other thing is that theirs is free. Some of the shuttles are not free with these other
Right.
places.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
even pay to ride the bus.
Right. So,
It's just,
yeah, it
my
adds
husband,
up.
it drives my husband up the wall, the money grab stuff. And it does me too. Um, but so Durian does have free bus. Now, we only used it for Disney Springs, so I can't talk about using it for the other parks.
Mhm.
But Disney Springs, it's like a bus, and then there was like this long gap. And I was kind of like, you know, and then it was like another bus, and then another gap, and then another bus. And I'm kind of like, that, you know,
What do you mean? Do you mean that there were
like,
buses for the parks and then nothing coming for Disney Springs?
well, so the bus, we didn't wait long for the bus to show up. It was pretty much on time when we got onto the bus from the hotel to go to Disney Springs. Um, but to keep in mind, which I just didn't think about because once again I've only ever stayed on property, is that the bus drops you off near Cirque du Soleil,
Mhm.
which was the opposite end of where we were wanting to go because my kids wanted to go to the Lego store.
Mhm.
So I'm in my head when we're driving, I'm like, where are we going? And I'm like, oh, because it's a non resort bus. Obviously, duh. It's not taking you up at the front,
Right.
like the Disney buses do.
Mhm.
So I told my kids, I said, listen, you have to understand, we have to walk to the Lego store. Then
Mhm.
we're going to have to walk back to get on this bus.
Mhm.
Do you want to do that? Because this is our only way back to the hotel, So, and of course, they were like, yes, yes, yes. Well, yeah, I knew, I knew. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was a nightmare,
Mhm.
but that was something that I didn't think about. And we did not make it back to get back to the bus, the first bus going back. So
Mhm.
it was a very late night. um
How often did the bus come? Was it like a once an hour, once
it
every
was
30
basically
minutes?
like maybe once an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was the caveat there. It was really weird because, like I said, it was like they dropped us off, and then there was like an hour, I guess, and a half until the next bus came. Well, that's just not enough time to get. I mean, and I know I went on a Saturday night and it's crowded, but it's like from where you are to walk is at
Mhm.
least with kids, 15-minute walk probably.
Yeah.
Um, and then we got to the Lego store and there was a line to get in, which really moved pretty quickly. But of course, I was like,
It's just daunting to see when you walk up.
yeah, I was like, I don't need that. And, then my daughter's like, oh, there's a line. And I'm like, I think it's going to move, and it did move. But then, of course, we spent, some time shopping. And then I'm like looking at my watch and I'm like, we got a boogie if we're going to get back to the first one. And it was
Mhm.
just like not enough time. So then it was like, okay, well, then the second one didn't, had a longer gap between
Mhm.
coming to pick up, which I mean, I should have looked at prior to, but I thought in my head that it was going to be sooner, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, so we basically only did the Lego store
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then booked it back. And then my poor husband, I have to give it to him though. He took my son, because then my son was, I carry me, carry me. And they had walked. I mean, they had walked a good amount. So at that point, he was like, fine, I'll carry you. Well, then we accidentally lost each other. And I mean, I know where I'm going. I was like, I really think my husband knows how to get back. But, like, you know. And then, of course, my daughter's like, her anxiety was up. She's like, are we lost? Mommy, are we lost? And I'm like, baby, do you know who you're talking to? Like, I know. But then, it gets into your head, and the anxiety of your kid being like flipping out, and you're trying to calm them down. And then I'm like looking around and all the crowds of people, and I'm like, oh, am I going the right way? For like a split second, I was like, okay, no, she's just getting into my head.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was an adventure, let's just say,
Mm.
to get back. And at one point, my husband, prior to us losing each other, was like, maybe what I can do is take an Uber. He take an Uber back, get the rental car, come and get us. But my phone had died.
Wait, why would he take an Uber to go back and get the rental car? Why would you not just get an Uber for all 3 of you? 4 of
Well,
you, excuse me.
very expensive. And then you got to put car seats, and that makes the price go up even more with the car
Okay.
seats. Like, we sat at one point, because I was like, if we don't make it to this bus, which is probably not going to happen, um, the next bus was going to get us home back even later than I
Mhm.
wanted. And so, yeah, the price goes way up with car seats
Yeah,
added, which unfortunately they just obviously still need, at least a booster seat at this point.
yeah.
Um, so he was thinking he would just leave by himself
Mhm.
and then go back, get the rental car, and come back and pick us up. But then my phone was dead.
Mhm.
So I was like, my phone battery, I have a fairly new phone, but that was something that I meant to address prior to us going, and it just never happened. So I was like, well, we can figure out a meeting place, but like, if you can't figure out how to get to, it was like,
Yeah.
and then at that point, I was like, you know what? We're just going on the next bus.
Mhm.
And granted, we went to Typhoon Lagoon, the next morning. So I wasn't too worried, because it was like, we don't have to get up early to get to, Magic Kingdom
Mhm.
or another park. And we have until 11 o'clock to check out. Like, we have plenty of time to get up and do everything. It's just, you know, just the sake of
Yeah.
not having them out until 11 o'clock.
Right, and on a travel day, and honestly,
Yeah.
like, time is money, and
Yes.
you wasted a lot of time waiting
Mm-hmm.
for buses and things like that, so
Yeah.
yet another cost to staying off property. Alright, let's get into your move over to All-Star Sports and your Typhoon Lagoon time. So, when you moved over to All-Star Sports, did you take your things over first thing in the morning, or did you go and do Typhoon Lagoon?
So we drove over to All Star Sports, and we parked in the checking in parking lot, you know,
Mhm,
and just left the car there, and then got on the bus.
mhm.
And then you have to take a bus to Disney Springs, and then Disney Springs has a bus to Typhoon Lagoon.
Really? Okay.
Hmm.
Because I stayed at All Star Sports for one night on my Labor Day weekend trip, and at that
Hmm.
point in time, they had buses running directly from the All-Stars over to oh, I guess it was Blizzard Beach. Maybe that's what made the difference.
Uh huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I don't know. I don't know. That's the way they got it set up.
Would you have had to pay for parking if you went to Typhoon Lagoon with your rental car?
I think so. Yeah.
Even though you were staying at a Disney resort
Well,
that night?
well, no, maybe not then. No, maybe not.
Mm,
Um, that didn't even dawn on me to just drive over there.
okay.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, well, it did dawn on me to drive over there, but I guess I had it in my head that I would have to pay for parking. But I guess, yeah, duh.
Hmm.
You know, even look, see, rookie mistake.
What did you think about Typhoon Lagoon? And I cannot recall if you've been there before.
I have not been there, so I
Okay.
think that's probably plays into it too.
Did you like it?
About but I loved it. We all loved it.
Mhm.
I absolutely love it. I didn't think I was gonna not like it, but I walked away liking it more than
Mhm.
I anticipated.
It exceeded your
Um,
expectations.
yes, yes, it's just I don't know. I like that it's kind of its own little. It's still a Disney park,
Mhm.
obviously, but I like that it's like it's even though I love all the Disney IP, like at a value with the statues and like I just like all that in your face characters and that's just me.
Mhm.
But for this, I like that it was kind of its own little theming and like it was less of that.
Mhm.
I don't know, it's weird to explain, I guess, but like I just liked that it was its own little kind of.
Tropical vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like chock full of like the
Mhm.
characters. For some odd reason I like it not being like that. I don't know if that makes sense, but
It does. Did you spend a majority of your time doing any one thing in particular? Like, were the
yes.
kids really into the lazy river or the wave pool or whatever?
Well, my daughter like that was we got down to so like there's the wave pool and then like there's like the beach area where
Mhm.
all the seating is. I mean it's made to look like an actual beach, obviously. And we just like I kind of had looked at the map, but like we got in and I was like, I don't know, there's a table, we can put our stuff there. And that was the immediate thing. She was just like, made a
Mhm.
beeline. She spent the majority of her time in that wave pool.
Okay.
She loved it. I was terrified.
It's rough.
I I was in there with her. I can do it. I was fine. I could not go more than 3 feet out. Like there was no way.
Mhm.
Because I felt like even at 3 feet, I mean the waves were coming and I was like standing there and you're looking and I mean you can see it coming and I was like, I'm like bracing myself. Um
Mhm.
and it's random. Like
Mhm.
this whistle goes off and then everybody's like, whoa. And I mean, it was just crazy to watch. Like the
Mhm.
initial wave, the giant
Yeah.
one coming, and the people that are all the way out there. And I'm like, mm-mm, no
Yeah.
way. No way. Uh-uh.
I've gotten knocked down by it before when I've been standing in maybe like a foot and a half of water. So,
Yeah,
it's really rough. You have to be careful. Did you end up doing any of the slides?
I did not.
Did your family?
My daughter and my son did. I mean, my daughter and my husband did.
Mhm.
Um, I was really surprised because my daughter is like, wants to go fast, wants to go fast, wants to go fast, all this stuff. She did. And I was really surprised because she wants to go fast on everything. She
Mhm.
did it the first time, was like, well, I want to go again, want to go again. Second time, I don't know. It was a different experience for her. She did the Crush and Gusher.
Mhm.
The name is like, um, and she didn't hate it the second time, but she was kind of like, I don't think I can do that again.
Mhm.
Um, and actually wanted to go back to the lazy river at that point,
Mhm.
which was shocking to me
Mhm.
because it's the lazy river. Um, but I think she had fun in the lazy river because of all the floats and like I don't know, she was playing this game where, I was like, her queen and she was moving all the empty floats out of the way for me and like making like a little boat, tag along
Mhm.
kind of thing at one point and then there is a part in the lazy river where it splits.
Mhm.
And the first time we went around, I was like, I don't know, just go to the left, I guess, like wherever it took us. We kind of floated that way. Well, there is a very intense waterfall
Mhm.
that just like is pummeling water down below.
Mhm.
So we're approaching it, and my son was with us at this point. And of course, he's more reserved and everything. Like it was even a lot for him to go on the lazy river,
Mhm.
which I know some people will be like, why? But that's just the way he is. And so, of course, we get to this, and I'm like, great. He's just gonna be done now. Like it's gonna
Mhm.
ruin everything.
Yeah.
So there was like this one little spot where I was like, okay, I think if I get off of my float, I can like, try to shield him from getting pummeled with this water.
Uh-huh.
So he was after that a little miffed because he still did not enjoy it.
Mhm.
And you go through this cave, and that was pretty cool after that. And that kind of cheered him up a little bit to go, floating through this cave. We talked him out of it, but he was like, I want to get off. I want to get out of this. I want to get out of this after that.
Mhm.
um, and then I was like, can we just go down a little bit more? Because if we go the next couple stops, then we'll be back at closer to where our stuff was.
Mhm.
Um, so he ended up being fine and was like, okay. Um, but yeah, we spent either between the wave pool or lazy river, and that we didn't do any other slides.
What
Um,
time did you end up heading out? How late of a day was
so
this
we
for you?
didn't get there until like it was after 12.
Mhm.
Um, because we just kind of had a lazy morning to catch up on sleep, have breakfast, all that stuff. Um, and so the park closed at 8, but we left at like 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Um, which honestly, if we had done all the slides, we still would have been leaving at 6. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a small park, which is fine with me. Honestly, it's kind of a nice of a change to not have a gigantic park that you're trying to navigate through.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was surprised my daughter didn't want to do more of the slides, but
Mhm.
she was content with the wave pool, like
Yeah.
that was enough for her. And then when we first got there, we split off. So my husband stayed with her at the wave pool, and then I took my son to the catch a kitty
Mhm.
creek, which we kept saying wrong every single time. Um, which is for 48 inches and under. So it's a baby toddler area.
Mhm.
Um, but it's cool over there. There's like, the spray grounds and there's, little slides to go down. There's like water, sprayers, a
Mhm.
pirate ship. There's like little pools of water, that have like running, water. I mean, a creek, obviously.
Mhm.
Um, he loved it, of course, over there. Like he did not.
Yeah.
That was his wave pool, basically. At at some point, I was like, okay, but I think we should get back and check on Daddy and your sister because it
Yeah.
had been a while, and I'm like, I didn't have my phone,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
one of those things about water parks is you don't have
yeah,
your phone unless you have one
one
of
of
those
those.
pouches, which I don't really wanna carry around a pouch
I don't
the whole
either,
time.
and I worry like, does it do they really work?
They do, they
I
do,
think
and
they do overall, but I don't know. I
yeah.
don't really want to carry it around.
They work, it's just like you're like, have something hanging around your neck, and I
Right,
this is my argument for the Apple Watch because I love my Apple Watch, and it can go directly in the water, and it doesn't hurt
yeah,
it, and if I need to, I can text and make a phone call and
right,
all that stuff.
right, right.
Let's move on because we do have, a lot more stuff to get to, and we're
Yes.
already more than a half an hour in. So let's talk about moving over to All Star Sports. Presumably, when you got back, your room was ready. What section were you in?
We were in the home run hotel
Okay.
section, so obviously, as you can guess, baseball themed.
Mm-hmm.
Which my son plays t-ball, so that was my I put that request in. I was pretty sure we were probably going to get it because
Mm-hmm.
it's, that's pretty easy. So he was, of course, enamored because, as you know, with Value All Star Sports movies, and it's the gigantic baseballs and the baseball bats, and
Mm-hmm.
it's, I don't know. I know people like rag on All Star Sports, and I'm not really quite sure because I didn't have any complaints. I loved
Mm-hmm.
it. I thought it was really cute, like the big stadium seating, and the scoreboard sign, and but also this is coming from somebody that just loves all that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
um we actually had a very convenient room too to the buses, which was nice, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though we were down that way, the way that the sidewalk running back where our room was is like a straight shot to where the buses were. So that was really convenient. Um, we never did the pool, but obviously we had already been to the water park, so we did look at it, and it's really cute pool with Goofy, um, which was conveniently like right there too, outside of our door, basically. But you know, I'm an all-star girl, so
Mm-hmm.
I had no complaints.
Did you have dinner at the food court there?
We did. We got a pizza,
Okay.
which I talk about all the time because it's $20,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a large, it's the big slice, pizza. Um, I just think it's such a great value, and it's easy. Obviously, everybody likes pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So it was perfect because we got back, everybody took showers. You know, I said, this is the epitome of like goodness to me. Come back
Mm-hmm.
to a Disney resort, shower, put your pajamas on, eat your pizza, and go to
Mm-hmm.
bed.
Yeah.
Like what's better? I don't know,
Not much, I will say. All right. So Monday, September 22nd, was your first of 2 park days, and this was a Magic Kingdom day that you were planning to rope drop.
Mhm.
So, you wanted to rope drop Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Did you end up doing that?
No.
What did you do instead?
If it had just been me and my husband, we would have rope dropped Seven Doors. It's not that the kids didn't, well, my daughter wanted to, but we got there in rope drop, you know, time,
Mhm.
but Seven Dwarfs was down.
Oh, okay. So, not any fault of your own. So,
No,
how did you
no.
pivot?
And part of me, I was like, oh, we could just go ahead and get in line and
But
wait.
you never know when it's gonna come back up.
But you don't know. And with the kids, they were like, we want to get on, like, and I get it. They didn't want to just go and wait in a line.
Right.
And if it had been up, it would have been different. But
Mhm.
they weren't going to sit there and wait in a line and not know when, you know, like time is money, honestly. So we ended up going to Tomorrowland,
Mhm.
which, crazy enough, I was telling Catherine this. I said, I don't think I've actually ever started in Tomorrowland.
Hmm.
I don't know why. And I don't know, maybe I'm feeling, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why, but I feel like I've really never actually started there. Which was fine. Because there's a lot of low, wait time rides.
Mhm.
So we went straight to the Astro Orbiter, and my son was gonna ride it and then said never mind. He needs time to warm up.
Mhm.
Like, even at the water park he needed time to warm up to things. I had actually never ridden Astro Orbiter,
Mhm.
which, as you know, is basically Dumbo, but you're in a rocket. Um, but I will have to say, you're higher up,
Mhm.
and the rockets are like at a tilt.
It's
So
more
I was,
exciting than Dumbo, for
yes, it
sure.
is actually. I had in my head, oh, just Dumbo. But then
Mhm.
we start going, and I'm kind of like, oh, this is this is a little bit more intense than I anticipated. Um, but she obviously, had fun on that.
Mhm.
And then we basically bounced around. We did People Mover, we did Carousel Progress, which she lasted the whole time. But as soon as the lights came on, she was like, "All right, you know,
Mhm.
now what?" Because that was boring. you know, that was not a ride. I'm like, it technically is a ride. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I get that it's more of a show, but it is a ride. And then they had, my husband and her had a lightning lane for Space Mountain.
Okay.
So she wasn't tall enough when we first went.
Mhm.
So she loved Space Mountain, of course. I didn't anticipate her not liking it. Immediately was like, I want to ride it again. you know.
Mhm.
Um so yeah, she loved that, and while they did that, I took my son to Tomorrowland Speedway,
Mhm.
which he is a anything with wheels guy. Like, he's your typical boy in that sense. Which I hate to say because girls can like cars too, but he is that typical boy. He was you know, just having the time of his life on Tomorrowland Speedway.
Mhm.
Um, which they actually got done and met us over there, but we were a little off, so they went they got off a little bit after us, which was fine. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was. I'm kind of sad we didn't rope drop Seven Dwarfs, but it was kind of a nice way to ease in
Mhm.
because I knew this was going to be a long day for
Yeah.
them. So that made it kind of nice where it wasn't just like intense. It was a lot of quick getting on, not having to wait long. Which, I mean, honestly, we didn't really wait. We didn't really wait. Everything we had was that day we had lightning lanes for, so we didn't really wait long,
Mhm.
in any line. Um, yeah,
Where
we
did
didn't
where
have.
did you head after Tomorrowland?
So Tomorrowland we left and we went to oh shoot, where did we go? Oh, we got conned into going ahead and getting a treat from Storybook Treats.
Mhm.
um because it was pretty warm, obviously, and it was only like, I normally don't let them have a treat before lunchtime.
Mhm.
But you're on vacation. I was like, you know what, fine. Um So my daughter got the Rapunzel sundae from Storybook Treats,
I had that. It was delicious.
and she really liked it. I tried to convince her to share it with her brother. That was not happening, and then she couldn't eat the whole thing, and so I'm like, yeah, you know, uh, but that was fine. So we all they got a treat. Mom and Dad did not get treats because I wanted to get something later on. Um, but we let them go ahead and get a treat, and then after that, we basically started bouncing around there. So, um, we went and did Small World, of course.
Mhm.
We actually never got on Peter Pan.
What? Even though you had a lightning lane for it?
We never had a lightning lane for it, actually.
Oh, you were aiming for a lightning lane when we
Yeah,
spoke
so,
last.
like, my
Yes.
first initial choices, I wanted to make sure that they got on Space Mountain together. So, when our first 3 choices were Space Mountain, and then I debated whether I was gonna do Tiana's, because we didn't get on Tiana's either.
Hmm.
Um, which, every time I tell myself, "Well, next time," you know, which
Mhm.
is the case. I was upset, but it's like I know I'm gonna get on it at some point. It is what it is. You just can't, especially with kids. You just can't get everything done. I mean, we
Right.
got majority of everything that I think everybody wanted to do done, minus some things, I guess. Tiana's was one that my kids, my daughter wanted to do, my son didn't want to do, but we did plenty of other things. I mean, I felt like they were
Mhm.
pretty, sufficient with what we had. We also had a lightning lane for Haunted Mansion,
Mhm.
which my son did not ride. um, and so my husband had to ride by himself. That was one he had to ride by himself because she wanted to ride with me, of course. And so at that point, after we did Haunted Mansion, it was little after 12, so it was, time for lunch. Um, which, by the way, it basically works with like a ride share. If you're wondering if you're going to have a kid that's not going to ride the ride, it's
Mhm.
just one parent goes with the kid, you get off. I think the cast member, depending, might let your kid get on again with the other parent. That didn't
Mhm.
happen at Haunted Mansion, which is fine, but may or may not happen to let them go on again. So yeah, my husband, his photo pass photo is just him with the ghost sitting there,
Mhm.
by himself. Um, he was fine. Obviously, he's a grown man, but um, but that did eat into not a ton of time, but we did have to obviously wait. We weren't going to leave him behind.
Mhm.
So, and with my son not riding it, it was, he was by himself for a few things. While we were waiting for my husband, they want to go into the gift shop. Memento Mori, gift
Mhm.
shop that's right there, that little small one. Okay, fine. They had money. They hadn't spent any. Well, they did spend some money at the Lego store the first night, but not much. I was surprised because it's expensive there. And of course, what does my son find but a car? Um, he how does he find a car anywhere like in this gift shop alone? Like what
Mhm.
you know? So he ended up getting it's the Dune buggy car,
Mhm.
that's like Haunted Mansion Dune buggy car. So I said, you didn't even ride the ride. And the cast member was very nice, but she was like, do you want me to cut it out of the box? And I'm like,
No.
but
No.
then you
Please
can't.
don't.
And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, no, really. She was being nice, so I'm not mad. I understand where she was coming from. But then, of course, he has it and he's outside and he's just running it back and forth. I'm like, it's good. And it broke.
Mhm.
It did not. Now, it did not break with him playing with it.
Mhm.
So I will give him that. But it broke because it was in our backpack. And
Oh, yeah.
and this is something I always talk about. Like, if you're gonna have a souvenir, you need to think about it having, you either have to carry it
Mhm.
or it has to go into a bag or a backpack.
Mhm.
and you got to be careful because your bags get put underneath things on rides or what have you.
Mhm.
He actually was like, eh, with it broken. The wheels are all there, I guess. Is
Mhm.
I was like, we can super glue it back. But yeah, I was like, how did you manage to find a car? Like in in this gift shop, but okay. So
Where did you head to after that?
that we went to Hartmer House and had lunch.
Mhm.
Which I am the queen of doing mobile orders. I just think it's just the way to go. I had already done while we were waiting on my husband to get off Haunted Mansion. I put in a mobile order for everybody. Um, the one caveat is finding seating because it was packed, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really packed there, and we didn't want to have to sit outside, obviously. Though if the weather is nice, they do have nice outside seating, I will have to say. But you just kind of have to be a vulture, and I
Mhm.
hate this because you kind of have to like stake out your table and you kind of hover and try not to hover too bad, but it's like,
Right. You do what you have to do in Disney
yeah.
for
So
seating. So everybody liked that?
yeah, I mean, my kids are not. It's kind of an odd choice, I guess, because they actually don't really like seafood.
Well, chicken
But
tenders are always an option.
yeah, and French fries. I always bring tons of snacks for them.
Mhm.
And they usually load up on snacks, and so when we do sit down to eat, they usually we can just get them like a side order of French fries or something because they have all these snacks and fruit and stuff that they're eating. And
Mhm.
then usually my husband and I will split. Sometimes we'll split an entree so that we split the fried shrimp. It's
Mhm.
it's more than enough for he and I to eat some shrimp and some French fries, and that's fun. I mean, I know some people that's not gonna work for them, but
Yeah.
it works for us, and it's cheap, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time sitting and eating anyways.
Right. Yeah, when you could be
um,
off doing other
yeah,
fun things.
yeah.
So
So
what did you move to next?
so after that, we had what was our next light? Oh, pirates. We had pirates after
Mhm.
that. I know it's all coming back to me. We had a lightning lane for pirates, which my son had not been on because when we were first there, he was napping when it
Mhm.
was time for us to go. So this time he was awake, obviously. Um, the drop spooked him a little bit, you know, and I forewarned him about that. And I was telling Catherine this. I said it's hard to explain things like drops to them because it's you can't look at them and be like, "Oh, it's like being on an elevator," because it's more than an elevator drop, right?
Mhm.
But it's not like a Tiana's drop, obviously. So he didn't cry or anything. I was very impressed. I told him he was very brave. I think it helped because it's pirates, and he another thing that he
Yeah.
really likes pirates and everything.
And as soon as the drop's over, you get to see all
It's
the pirates,
yeah, and
so
then
it distracts you.
everything after that, it's just you're floating, seeing all the scenery.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, they of course both like that ride,
Mhm.
even though it didn't go fast. My daughter was like, "Oh, there's nothing to look at, and it's entertaining enough."
Mhm.
And then of course it spits you out through a gift shop, and I had to. The one time I really had to sit and go, "You guys don't need foam swords. You don't need the foam swords. They're gonna break. I don't need you whacking each other with foam swords. I'm sorry, we're not.
No, you just
We
have to keep moving. I think when you get
yes,
off of Pirates, the
just
best course of action is be like, "We've got someplace to be. Let's
yeah."
go."
Well, and that was the case because parade was about to start.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Alright. And
because
you
our
wanted
lightning
to
lane
sit
was
and watch that?
around one. Well, I I had a sad mom moment because my daughter didn't want to watch the parade.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she wasn't like, I don't want to watch that. It wasn't really that. It was more of just like, eh, I want to go on another ride. And I was kind of like sad because I just didn't anticipate her not wanting to really like see the parade.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I
But
guess she's
but did
growing
you
up.
did you make her watch it?
No. She actually went with my husband and Catherine was like, "Really? She missed the parade?" Now, she didn't miss it fully, but so we were kind of in between Frontier and Adventureland, kind of in
Mm-hmm.
between. We found a spot, my son and I.
Mm-hmm.
He was all for it because he knows Mickey Mouse is at the end. And she went with my husband to ride Magic Carpet. I wasn't gonna fight her on it, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
all right. They actually, after Magic Carpets, I guess kind of because of the parade was going on, they ended up down near the end of Main Street
Mm-hmm.
and caught the parade at the end, down there. And so she did see it. It was just that initial like, okay, we gotta go get to the parade. We gotta go find a spot. And she was kind of like, I don't really want to see the parade. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Why?
So after the parade, where did you head next?
After the parade, my son wanted to meet Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
They went off to the barn store. So there was a lot of, not a ton, but there was a lot of times where they were split.
You divided and conquered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Which is fine, to be expected because they have different interests.
Mm-hmm.
Which my son though, he was like, how is he in the parade? And then like I just
Oh,
saw him in the
no.
parade and now he's at Town Square and I'm like,
Like, don't ask. It's magic.
yeah, literally that's what I said. I was like, because he's magic? Like,
Mm-hmm.
duh. And he was like, oh, okay. My daughter would have been like, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, you're lying to me. So I have that. So he went and met Mickey at Town Square,
Mm-hmm.
which he's in his like he's got his cape,
Mm-hmm.
attire, and that's the second time he's done that interaction, which obviously is always great. He ran right to him, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, at least one of my kids is like, I'm still holding on. He's the quote unquote baby,
Mm-hmm.
almost 5, but still made me happy to see that.
Did you meet back up after this or you continued
Yeah,
doing things
after that
separately?
we met back up. Um, they had gone and done the Barnstormer, and then we actually headed back over and did the carousel because
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Not of progress. The regular
yeah,
carousel.
yeah, yeah, not a progress carousel, Prince Charming's carousel. And then we bounced over to Ariel,
Mm-hmm.
rode Ariel, and then my daughter wanted to meet Ariel because she is on her list. She's still into the princesses, at least for now. So met Ariel, which was fantastic. I love that character interaction. I felt like she really spent a good amount of time, with them. And even my son was brave and like went up and got in the picture. I
Mm-hmm.
really didn't. He was amazed with her mermaid tail and like
Mm-hmm.
she would flip it up and he's like, you know. Oh, and that point they were actually getting hungry again. Um we actually that was when we did Small World. So we rode Small World after that. I think had a bathroom break, yeah. And then they were getting hungry again, and so we ended up just going to Pinocchio's. It's not my
Mm-hmm.
favorite, not would not be my top choice at all, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
no offense. But with them, it's easy. It's another easy one. There's plenty of seating in there,
And
you
it's
know.
quick. Yeah.
Um and we actually chilled out in there for a little bit. just because at that point everybody was so hot.
Mhm.
Um, and that's the one thing I feel like with Magic Kingdom is there's not a ton of shade. It's
Mhm.
there's a lot of out in the open, just out in the sun. So we spent a little bit longer time eating and chilling out just to get everybody refreshed. Because as you know, Disney Starlight Parade has been since July, and so that was on
Mhm.
our list of things, along with the fireworks because they didn't make it the first time we took them to the fireworks,
Mhm.
which I knew was gonna be the case, but
Did you end up actually getting to do both of those things?
yes, we did, and so it was. Oh my gosh, I I I felt bad because I was like, I hope the people that we're sitting next to are not irritated with me. Because during Disney Starlight, I'm just like, waving and screaming and all this stuff. That I will not spoil it for anybody and go into like major details of that parade, but that is a fantastic parade. I loved every minute of it.
Mhm.
Um, my kids obviously loved it. Their jaws were just dropped the whole time.
Mhm.
Now the one thing, because we met up near town square, was we were down there by the flagpole.
You were at the start of
So
the parade.
yeah, so we had to book it back up to the castle after the parade to try to get a spot. Not my ideal situation, but that's the one thing. If you're going to try to do both, it's like parade is at 8, fireworks are at 9. It makes it kind of difficult
And I'm
to.
sure a lot of people who are doing the parade are also trying to do the fireworks, so it's gotta be
Yes, yeah, because like
crowded.
parade ended and it was just obviously mass crowd going up
Yeah.
towards the castle.
I would say if you're on a trip and you have the time, I would personally recommend splitting the parade and the, happily ever after into 2 separate nights if you're able
Yes,
to.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I
alright.
mean, it worked out. I mean, the kids honestly, we had a spot for Happily Ever After that was enough for them. Like we intermittently would pick them up, you
Mhm.
know. We just can't. I can't hold them the whole time, obviously.
Right.
And my son honestly was like standing on the ground, and I think he could see some of it, but he was like mainly into the music, and the music was going, and he's just down there on the ground dancing and jumping up and down and everything. And I'm like, he's so excited with that just alone. Like the castle projections, I don't like
Right, it doesn't matter at that point.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
of course they could see Tinkerbell, from
Mhm.
up ahead. And obviously the fireworks, they
Mhm.
saw the fireworks easy peasy. I mean, obviously up in the air. Um, so I mean they really loved it. And my daughter, prior to the show starting, she had her signature book and she ripped out a page out of her signature book, blank page, and made me a card, and I was like, "Oh my god, thank you, mommy, for bringing me here." And I'm like, "Oh man, this is this is why we do this."
Yeah.
So, you know, as you know, though, when it ends, it's like madness because
Mhm.
everybody's trying to get to the buses, and
Mhm.
I'm I'm like, we're gonna stand here, wait for some of the crowd to, you know, get out because there's
Mhm.
just no point in trying to go with
Right.
everybody else.
Just lean into
Um,
it.
yeah. So,
Alright. Tuesday, September 23rd, was your second of 2 park days, and this was an
yes.
Animal Kingdom day. Did you rope drop?
Close enough.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you were going to be getting multi-pass for this
Yes.
day as well. You had aimed for Dinosaur, Everest, and Navi River. Were
Mhm.
those the 3 that you ended up getting when it
Yep.
was your day to do it. Okay. So, how did your park day start?
Well, we got there a little bit later than we wanted to, but I'm not really worried because for Animal Kingdom, it's a smaller park.
Mhm.
I feel like we could pretty much knock it out, you know, not even the full day of it being open. And plus, with the night before being so late, and it's just the way it worked out. I wish we could have done Animal Kingdom first and then Magic Kingdom, but that's the way it played out. So a little bit later, but everybody, we got up, we got to the bus, our typical go down, fill the water bottles up, everything. Um, got into the park, of course, went straight to Dinosaur
Mhm.
because
Because that
that
was
was our
something your daughter specifically
yes.
wanted to do. How
And
many
my
times did you
son,
ride Dinosaur?
well, so I only actually rode it one time while we were
Mhm.
there. She rode it 4 times
Okay.
in the full day. Um, because this was the main reason why we were going, for her to get her goodbyes of Dinosaur. My son actually wrote it when we first got there,
Mhm.
and he didn't cry or anything, but he got off and was like, all right, I did that. I don't necessarily need to do that again.
Mhm.
um, which I anticipated. And he goes, I think I only saw one dinosaur because he had
Mhm.
his eyes closed the rest of the time.
Fair enough. Did you all end up doing Everest?
We did not all do it, but my husband and my daughter did it.
Mhm.
Um, that was later in the day, because prior to that, we actually got a lightning lane. We did Navi, and
Mhm.
then we had a lightning lane for Cali River Rapids.
Mhm.
Um, Navi I had never ridden before. I thought that was great. Though
Mhm.
we had the B mode, the animatronic was the screen.
Oh, that's too bad.
So,
Did
it
you
happens.
I have a note that you had breakfast at 9:55 at Tusker House.
We
Did you
did.
have
We
that? Okay.
did.
How did you like
So
it?
I really enjoyed the food. I really enjoyed the atmosphere. I was a little disappointed with the wait times of seeing the characters.
Mhm.
Um I don't know what happened, or if I don't think we technically got missed, but we had paid and was all settled up, and we still had not seen Goofy or Mickey.
Mhm.
Donald and Daisy are also there. They had come probably like 10 minutes into us eating, so that was pretty good. But like I said, we were done eating, settled and everything, and had not seen Goofy or Mickey.
Did you say something to them?
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, our waiter asked, "Are we missing anybody?" And I said, "Yeah, like Mickey and Goofy have not come by." And the table catty corner to us also had not had them come by. So I was kind of like, we ended up spending more time there than I wanted. It was fine. Obviously we did eventually see them, and interaction was great. It was good and everything. But I said something to the waiter, and then like 10 minutes later, I found a handler, the
Mhm.
people that go with the characters, and was like, I don't know what's going on, but we've been waiting. And they were like, oh, rest assured, they're making their way. They're making the way. And I'm kind of like, okay, I got two kids that are kind of like getting antsy, especially my son, because I obviously, he's Mickey is his dream. So I wouldn't necessarily say that was like, oh, I won't ever go back because of that. I wouldn't
Mhm.
say that. It just was a little, when you got kids that are waiting and being patient, and you know that the patience is running out,
Mhm.
it's a little nerve wracking. But it was fine. I would probably do it again. I think the food alone, I mean, it's a buffet, so
Right.
there's a lot there.
Was there anything else you did in Animal Kingdom that's especially notable?
Hmm. This is gonna sound really sappy. Two things. Never did Flight of Passage before, and my
Mhm.
daughter was tall enough to ride that. She got lucky and got to ride it with me and my husband. Technically, we only had one lightning lane for her, but when my husband went up to get on it, they said, "Yeah, just let her go."
Mhm.
Um, so that was great because she rode it with me and got off and was, "Can we go on it again? When can
Mhm.
we get on it? Can we get on? Can we get back in line to get on it?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I it was intense for me, but I was like, I could once I now I've done it, I can do it again, you know."
Mhm.
But that was pretty cool that they let her on, and very special because then she got to ride it with her daddy, which I really they got to. I mean, they got to ride a lot of rides, just the two of them,
Mhm.
which was special within its own because he works, I don't work. That was great bonding time for them. But the other thing, and I know this probably sounds maybe lame to some people, but they had gone off after Flight of Passage. Everest only had a 10-minute wait.
Mhm.
I don't know if everybody was going to Halloween party or something, but he was like, let's go. Like she was like, yeah. So they were going to do Everest and try to get back on Dinosaur for one final last time. I had my son with me, obviously, and he and I walked. We said, okay, they're going to go do that. We'll start walking back towards the front of the park. And I don't know, just the weather had cooled down. He was in good spirits. I was in good spirits. I know it sounds lame or sappy or whatever, but just strolling through the park, the two of us, like literally just all we're doing is walking through the park. I don't know. I guess you had to be me. You had to experience it. But like, I don't know. There was just something about it was like the end of the day. It was just a perfect ending of the day.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, like it just wrapped up our trip like perfectly. They were off doing their stuff. He and I were together. The weather was
Mhm.
nice. I was just walking along, like just actually like looking, at the park. And then
Mhm.
we got up to the tree of life and the sun was setting. And like, I know it sounds sappy and everything to some people, maybe, but I don't know. It was just special, you know?
Disney is magical, and it's not just about the rides.
No.
So, just walking down Main Street or standing and trying to scope out all of the different animals that are in the Tree of
Mm-hmm.
Life, like, all of that is magical and special. So, I think that being able to take a moment and acknowledge that it
Oh,
was,
yeah.
a
Yeah.
special moment is definitely important. That brings us to your departure day, which is Wednesday, September 24th, and you were driving home all in one shot, much like you drove down there in one shot. So, was the drive back okay? Did you stop less times?
It was painful.
Oh,
Um,
no.
I think because the excitement of going to the parks and everything is obviously not there.
Mhm,
You're tired, even though Animal Kingdom and the rest of the resort, the time we were there was perfect.
mhm,
We, I'm sure a lot of people know, 95 has been under construction
mhm,
for I don't even know how long now.
Decades.
Yes, yes. At this point, I mean, so it was really weird. Though on the way down there, we never ran into any construction.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was going on. It was like,
Hmm.
oh wow, for once, this is like a breeze. On the way back, it was like, and it's a 2-lane road, you know, one lane closed, left lane closed, right lane closed. It was
Mm-hmm.
like non-stop, stop and go, you know.
Hmm. What time did you start your drive?
Well, we also left later. So part of
Mm-hmm.
it was we got up, we actually had a proper breakfast in the food court. And then the kids wanted to go to the arcade, which actually I will say was not as expensive as I thought it was going to be. So we let them spend some time at the arcade while my husband packed up the car and everything. And so we actually didn't leave until like 10 o'clock, 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, like I said, a lot later than I anticipated us leaving.
What time did that put you home?
We weren't home until midnight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a long day.
I mean, it was nuts. I felt really irresponsible because she had to go to school the next morning.
That was going to be my next question was there school the next day, and did your husband have to go to work the next day?
Yep. Yep.
Whew, okay. All right. Well, now you've had a little bit of time. Have you recovered from that?
For the most part, yes. I still have a few things to put away. I'm actually trying to, now that we've gone with the kids now twice, I'm trying to get together like books basically for them
Mm-hmm.
to put all of their little trinkets in, because luckily for them still at this age, getting like stickers and getting um the water park, they gave us the cards because we didn't have our magic bands.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave us the actual, cards. And so those little things are like very precious to them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm trying to, that's my next project, getting like, I want to do like an essential, like a scrapbook or something along the lines that they can have something where all of their little things are in one place. Though I'm actually sitting here staring at my husband's bag that is still semi unpacked.
I cannot judge because I am the queen of waiting to put my bag up. In fact, because we live in New York City, we keep our luggage downstairs in like a storage unit in the basement of our building. And I still have not put our luggage downstairs from our Labor Day weekend trip. And now that I have a business trip tomorrow, at least my carry-on
Hey,
is here. I don't have to go
it's
back down for it.
well, what's funny is that like my park bag
Hmm.
is never unpacked.
Oh, no, no, no.
That
I put my
that
park bag.
backpack is
It's
set to go.
yeah.
Like
I never unpack that either. It's just my
I
luggage.
I might, I'll take it out and make sure I have plenty of everything.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like that's always
Yeah,
sitting there.
you have to be ready for a trip at a moment's notice.
Right? You never
Obviously.
know. I mean, you never know. Duh.
Well, Lucy, it's been so much fun seeing you again, and
Of
I
course.
am so glad that you had such a good trip. And
Me
I
too.
hope you have a magical what's left of your Sunday.
I'll make my laundry magical somehow.
Yeah, just pretend you're Cinderella doing your chores.
Whistle while you work.
Yes.
Right?
All right. Take care.
All right.
Thank you again to Lucy for joining the show. Listeners, as a reminder, Lucy used Amy from Unlocking the Magic Travel as her travel agent. I've linked to her in the show notes so that you have the right Amy, because there is more than one Amy from Unlocking the Magic Travel. Please reach out to her if you are looking for help planning your own trip. And that is all for today. Thank you all for continuing to tune in. I hope this podcast makes your day a little bit brighter and keeps you going until your own next magical adventure. Until then, keep daydreaming about where you long to be.